bigger and bigger trainers. That's what I want.
Or
These are
hats.
my dreams. And I'd like, there was that sketch idea that I think is probably gone now, but this idea was sort of like a play on Flagrant 2, but you keep cutting to more and more producers, or like bigger and bigger sofa, and everyone has bigger and bigger trainers every time. So someone cracks one joke, and you and then you're going out, and there's just, because it seems like in the American podcast they've got about
Was that barometer of success?
Yeah, it's kind of, you got like the more people you have working behind the podcast is a bigger sign of success. So they just have lots of people. The more people you employ, it's like a sign of bravado
to different people.
Yeah,
like
you got
man on a mic.
the editing guy. You know, you got soon you'll own a whole skyscraper, a building. I think is the dream, because it's sort of like the podcast over there. It's like you're trying to be like a sort of Mongol warlord.
Yeah,
where it shows your harem of people.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's a big thing in America.
What, owning as many people as possible?
Well, I just think having entourages is like, as a sign of status, is quite a big deal.
Well, it's bringing everyone up with you, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah,
you leave no man behind.
But then I think white people have still co-opted that, because
I think Andrew Schultz does, but he's not. He's a very particular white man.
He's a black man.
He is a black man.
Exactly.
What's his haircut doing? It's fucking dreadful, isn't it?
It's like it's like the guy from Zone of Interest.
It is the guy from Zone of Interest. It's exactly that. And that moustache is awful. I don't know why he's going for that.
So, Andrew, you're 2 weeks into your sabbatical.
Right. Yeah.
How have you found it?
I've done nothing. My
mind
mind is blank.
Your soul?
No. No, I've done enough soul searching in life. It's time for me to do fucking nothing, and I've done nothing.
How's been doing nothing been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
What fight? I've played some games.
Yeah. What would you? I saw you playing Red Dead.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable. I'm just like I'm a cowboy and an assassin.
Is that your chosen job within the world?
No, I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Hitman.
Oh, Hitman's great.
Yeah, so I'm both.
Hitman is great. Are you good at Hitman?
No.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. And I think it's a bit too specific because it's like you want to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't want any of the hints and stuff for people you don't know.
Yeah.
You're just an assassin, basically, and you've got to kill people.
Yeah.
But there's like really specific ways that you can kill people. For example, you use disguises all the time. So one of them is like you dress up as like a guy who's like a bug sprayer. What do you call him? A pest control man.
Yeah.
But then it's like you've got to really know the next steps. It's a very specific story that you're expected to follow.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of impossible to be good at it first time, I think.
I do like the implication, though, that you sort of, if you can beat up and knock out sort of any service person, you can sort of get yourself to any position by sort of taking out every rung.
Yeah.
So, you start with the janitor.
And then eventually you just work there.
Yeah, and then soon you're the fucking...
You're the CEO.
You just dressed up as the CEO. I quite like that part of it.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of that. It's been a lot of staying inside and then, I don't know, doing stuff on the weekends. I know, I've decided I wanted to have a rest with it because I'm a busy boy.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a relaxation period while I can. And then it'll be good to be sick of doing nothing to then go back into being busy.
That's true.
That's the plan.
Yeah. I mean, I've been spazzing out recently. I've been real stimming hard.
What is that? I don't understand what those two words mean.
It means that my ADD has been flaring badly.
Yeah, which means...
I mean, yesterday it was quite embarrassing. I was meant to go to a photo shoot, which had been stressing me out so much because I couldn't find the right bowl for my head. I've been stressed about it. I got all my clothes together.
What bowl?
Like an astronaut perspex bowl.
Right.
So if anyone has an astronaut perspex bowl, like something that you can put your head in, which is really hard to find actually.
Just a big fish bowl.
Well, or a 10-gallon terranium would be good as well. Do you know what terranium is?
It's where you keep like animals.
Yeah, well, you make your own ecological
ecosystem.
It's
like ants.
in a bowl.
Ants
I could do with
spiders.
a 10-gallon terranium, but they're harder to find these days.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Russia invading Ukraine.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, and Ukraine is very much the terranium basket of Europe.
And
so it really scuppered. But I hadn't confirmed with the photographer that it was on. So about 20 minutes before I checked, it's like, are we doing this? She's like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Who is this? So, I've just been stimming hard.
What does stimming mean?
You know what stimming means? It's when people with...
I'm not in the ADD
it's when people with learning difficulties... I think stimming's been like... it's been sort of colloquialised. I'm sure it came from meaning just genuinely like people with severe autism like beating their mum up, I guess.
What is it?
It's like when you just flare up.
Where you beat your mum up.
I don't know. Sorry, that was harsh. It probably isn't that.
Yeah.
But it's stimming used in the colloquial term is like you just
procrastinating.
No, it's kind of like you can spell when someone's stimming. It's like they're
I don't think you know what
their symptoms are flaring up of being neurodivergent. Do you know what I mean?
So if I have IBS, do I stim when I fart?
I guess so. I mean, I don't think people have expanded it into that. But
No,
I guess
not the
that
physical.
is,
But
I
if
guess
I've
that
got,
is stimming.
if I'm schizophrenic,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing an FBI agent telling me that my mum's a Russian spy, is that stimming? Or is it more like, is it cutesy? A bit more in the kind of...
I think it's cute. I've only ever known it as cutesy, but normally these things have come from something that's quite serious.
Yeah.
So I imagine that maybe it could be. I think stimming...
2 M's?
Yeah, stimming is more for people with ADHD.
Yeah. Stimming or self-stimulatory behavior is repetitive movements or noises. Stimming might include hand and finger movements, for example, finger flicking and hand flapping, body movements, for example, rocking back and forth while sitting or standing.
Yeah.
Right.
So just kind of spazzing out.
Spazzing out makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing. I've been stimming out hard.
So what does that look like? That means that your
well,
life's
the problem is,
falling apart.
on the way back from that photo shoot, I then, I then got the wrong train twice because I was stimming so hard that I missed.
So what does your stimming look like for the people at home? Because
Well,
I'm
to
well
be
aware
honest,
of it.
it's like it probably is 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
That's probably it. But maybe with a
With a kind of flicker of the eyes every now and again, and then just an irrelevant decision.
Yeah. And it
for
kind
people that...
it sort of flares up and flares down, but it's definitely been. But then I've been like, I'm in a strange situation where it's like I've been really like anxious, but then it's nothing that I have loads of stuff to be anxious about.
Yeah.
So it's a completely reasonable response.
Yeah, so that's not really anxiety,
is it?
Well, it
that's
is,
being
it is, and it
anxious,
isn't.
You know?
There's a difference between having anxiety rationally and having an anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be anxious about things you're meant to be anxious about.
Because it's like a weird thing. It's like I got loads of stuff that's just only a freak would be not kind of anxious about. I've got Edinburgh coming up, I've got the special coming up, and just juggling a lot. But then, and all the things about, all the stuff about anxiety, it's like, I don't know if that's helpful because I just know...
No, it's not.
I'm just going to be anxious until I complete the thing.
Well,
right?
well, what do you mean all this stuff? There's some stuff that could, help deal with it. There's like tactics to deal with it.
Yeah, I guess so. You could have like one of those little Zen gardens.
Yeah, with the rake
the
and the sand.
The small rake. I guess that's
sort of your birthday present. It's going to get you one of those this year. A stress ball.
Yeah, I think I do need I need something
that
I
might
can
help
stim
with
with
this stimming.
Yeah, well, no, genuinely, that's like that's where fidget spinners came from. They're like they're totally stim.
Well, that's just like to satisfy the desires of the hand.
That is genuinely.
While the mind goes
I think
crazy.
it was literally developed for people with ADD to like.
Yeah.
So they can. And now and this is always something that I've always done is like I now just roll a tennis ball back and forth.
I know.
When I'm thinking, because I realise the only way that my brain can like clear up is if I'm physically doing something. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I manically play now Polytopia on my phone. It's because it's the only way that I can like.
You're thinking about Polytopia there, though.
No, because my brain splits into two parts.
Right,
and it's like
you're a fucking
if my brain's left to its own devices, then it's thinking about 4 things at once.
Yeah,
consistently.
Right.
But then if I'm focused on Polytopia, then that leaves my back brain just to sort of sort stuff out.
Your back brain, yeah.
Yeah. So I got 2 very well focused brains while I'm playing Polytopia. You know.
Your back and your front.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I don't know if it's back or front. It could be side to side. I don't know exactly. I wouldn't know the specificity.
No. But you've never professed to.
No, exactly. I've never said I'm a professor.
Well, just bring a fidget spinner back.
I think I might do. Or like, Paddy stims really hard as well, and he has putty that he uses. Because it doesn't help that all my friends are also fucking stimming.
Why?
Well, because we're all just stimming. It's completely normalised. Well, I guess it's probably good. It's probably like one of those like soft play areas.
Well, yeah, you should go hang out in CJ's playground.
And I've been watching a lot of. BB showed me her favourite Louis Theroux episode, which was on extreme autism, and then one of them did just keep beating the shit out of his mum. And it's like, that's
autism.
That's real autism. He's got a real touch to autism.
Yeah.
And then been watching a lot of Love on the Spectrum. Did you watch Love on the Spectrum?
No.
No? It's not for you?
It never sat well with me.
Like the ethically?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a grey area.
I think it's a black area, really.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that it's clearly exploitative.
Yeah, but with people with severe learning difficulty, what do you call it? How would you say it?
Say what?
People who've got severe...
Can't we say severe learning difficulties?
Yeah, I guess so. But just people don't seem to use learning difficulties apart from me.
Severe mental disabilities?
Yeah.
You can't say handicap.
Yeah. They've got a good handicap at golf.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Like
Yeah.
mentally, you should have, like, your mental handicap should be like a golf handicap.
Yeah.
And like
Under 18, preferably.
the lower it is, the better. So
Yeah.
I don't know which way around you do it.
I think mentally disabled.
Yeah.
That's the yeah. Learning difficulties is not. You can't say that.
Yeah, I think that's bad.
You're not allowed to say
No.
that. Yeah, that's
LDs.
wrong.
But I guess the question is it bad to show people with severe autism or Down syndrome for entertainment better than not show them at all? Because I feel
So it's about the tone. That's what's the important thing there. And the tone
and the music.
Sure. Well, music is heavily in part of the tone.
Yeah.
But what music are you thinking? No.
Yeah.
It's about, the kind of idea. The thing that I don't like is it pretends it's something it's not.
What does it pretend to be?
Isn't this lovely? Isn't love so pure? Isn't love so great? Isn't this sweet? When really it's like, ha ha ha.
Oh, is it?
It is ha 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 with moments of tenderness, but mostly it's come on. The clips from that you see, the ones that have gone viral and done the best, they're not the moments where they fall in love, are they?
Yeah.
They're the moments where three autistic people get together and try and I don't know, eat a pudding.
Yeah. Well, there's one on people with Down syndrome as well, and it's like I don't know. I feel like I know more about the disorder after I've seen that.
That's true.
And I just. Yeah. It's the question.
Yeah, visibility is that important regardless of the nature of it, because that's definitely not true. Because you could have you could have robot wars with you could have robot wars with mentally disabled people.
Well, you fight. What you make letting them
fight?
Yeah,
I'm just using the logic.
And would you get different disabilities to fight each other to see who's
you find out about the stats of each disabled person, and you might learn more about that. But that show shouldn't exist. So there is a line. We just got to find where that line is.
I mean, I do like this idea of robot wars, but with just getting different learning difficulties to fight each other. And then you can sort of crunch the numbers and see.
I'm watching...
Or you do Physical 100.
I'm watching Physical 100 now. I've literally just found out who the winner was 10 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which would be...
Were they Korean?
There's some non-Koreans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But was it
Who
Korean?
made it to the final? They were Korean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, that sounds more like something that the Japanese might do.
I don't know, though. I just feel like... I think there's definitely you have to be very careful with tone, but I think Love on the Spectrum probably does the right thing, and I do think people who have family members with severe autism or Down syndrome, they do appreciate there's moments that it is funny, some moments, So it's like to pretend that it's completely serious and that these things aren't funny. I wonder if that repression is actually unhelpful.
I'm not asking for repression.
No.
I'm just, when I watched it, I was like, the laughs healthy here. I'm not sure they're completely healthy.
I'll tell you, BB raised a good point.
But I don't know.
Is interesting having reality TV with people with severe autism because...
That's most people on reality TV. I've just watched Dance Mums. Sorry, continue.
Is that severe autism?
Oh, they're all just... Well, every reality TV show is, it's insane people.
Yes, but different. Like Love Island is neurotypical as it gets.
That's true.
There's nothing going on there.
But then a lot of... I think maybe older classic reality TV is mostly about sociopaths.
Yeah.
Like The Real Housewives.
Yeah, but I don't think they're... I don't think they're autistic.
No, I'm not saying that. Sociopaths.
I think with Love on the Spectrum, though, what's interesting about people with severe autism is that there is an authenticity to it that you lack. Because when you have someone who maybe doesn't have severe autism, they are quite aware of the camera. There's like a Brent.
That's true.
There's a Brent thing going on.
That's true.
And I do think
it does feel like the most real one.
It's and that's what I've really found about the date things. It's like, this is so weird that you've got camera people on a date. And it's like,
They know.
Yeah, but these guys...
They have no... It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
You could have a live studio audience. It wouldn't make a difference. That's
so
true.
there is like I found that quite compelling.
That's
it's
true.
like, is this fake? Is this real? This is real.
This is real.
This is real.
It's actually probably the most real reality TV show on the planet, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Because like with the first date stuff, I mean, no one's their authentic self on a first date anyway.
Yeah.
So then add...
Yeah, God, yeah, and all that
and
felt
Fred
so
Serio.
fake.
Fred Serio's, is that his name? Serio? Seriex. Serial. Fred Serial.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't actually watched more than like a couple of episodes. But there was something in me, and maybe I might be wrong, but there was something in me that I went, I don't know where this is
What made me
going.
feel bad, but with Love on the Spectrum, it is like you have your favourites and you have what you're looking for, and there's lots who you're like, I can get to the next one. Like,
is that based on personality or disability?
Personality.
Yeah.
Well, because they've all got the same sort of disability.
What? Autism?
Yeah, it's all about autism.
Is it only about autism?
Yeah. But
and there was a Down syndrome special.
No, that's a different show.
Right. What's that
I forgot
called?
what it's called because I saw it on YouTube after someone recommended it on a podcast, and that Down syndrome is very different to autism.
Yeah. One of our friend of the podcast, Paul Delaney, who's actually shown he's the one with the really small nipple.
Yes.
So that's one of the benefits of being on the Patreon community chat. Is
that the profile picture of the Privy Council at the moment?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I actually sent a picture of the nipple on there because I was with him, and then Paul happened to also be on the chat.
Oh.
So there was a nice engagement between the man with the small nipple and everyone.
It was a lovely moment.
It was a really touching moment. And then, so I was. This is another Easter story because we're
an Easter egg.
We're an Easter egg.
Yeah,
because we are fundamentally an Easter correspondence podcast.
Yeah. We're a deeply Christian podcast.
Deeply Christian podcast. So Paul's nan, he has two nans. One of the nans is
this little Spanish lady called Abuelita. Oh, Mr. Paul, can I please help you do this? Oh, is everything okay, Mr. Paul?
She's a very lovely, very quaint, sweet, tiny Cuban lady.
Yeah.
Abuelita, I think is what they will call her because that's the name for it. And then his other nan is Paul. He fucking what? He made it. And I will. Yeah. So I've been obsessed with both of Paul's nans. It's the dichotomy of man. The duality of man is presented in both of his nans. But so one of his, I finally got the call up at one point when we were at school, and Paul's English nan added me on Facebook, and that was one of the best days of my life. Yeah. She shared one meme, which was a really close-up picture of a piece of meat, which was liver, and over it the meme was, "Doesn't anyone eat liver anymore?" And that was the whole thing.
Yeah, it was like top text, bottom text, that big white text, as if it's like a joke meme. But
and she shared it. No, it was like genuine annoyance, like, why doesn't anyone eat liver anymore? It's like...
I ask, because I'm not sure.
Well,
does anybody eat
that's what I mean. Well, I've seen many styles of this country's gone to the dogs.
Yeah.
That isn't one I expected. That isn't one I necessarily expected.
Yeah.
I was, I'm okay with us not eating liver. I didn't realise it was an important staple of our diet or our culture previously.
She's a big supporter of my career on Facebook.
I know.
She's
the first one.
She was early. She's big on the comments, very supportive. So I've got a lot of time for her.
Yeah, absolutely. No, she's she's a great woman.
Yeah,
she's excellent. But so she's that. So those are the two sides of the Delaneys, I guess. Oh. But then Paul shared with me the story over Easter. I've got the picture up actually. So he sent me this from his English nan. He received an Easter egg from her. Yeah, which is fairly typical for receiving an Easter egg for your nan.
Yeah, it's a sweet moment.
But then he opened up the Easter egg, and inside it was a folded up piece of paper.
Oh, that's a lovely little message.
It's weird. So the Easter egg was kind of broken or whatever. This was popped inside. It was like, well, why is there a it must be Christ is risen.
Yes,
that's this.
Or lots of love from Nan.
Lots of love from Nan. It'd be like, you could have just put it on the outside. You didn't need to put it in the egg. But instead, it was the crime statistics for London for the year 2023 to September 2023.
Do you want to read out?
Yeah, in the note, inside is Easter egg. Yeah. Well, the note reads, in year to September 2023, 14,000 knife crime offences in London. Over 2 million crimes reported in 2023 not investigated. 32,000 sex offences. 6,400 rapes,
Christ.
45,000 robberies, 317,000 crime damage, and 6,400 reported rapes, nothing done about them. Note the double up on the rapes.
Yeah. Well, you need
that's-
to hit that home.
Yeah, nothing reported. She's done nothing done about them as well at the end.
Yeah. So these are rapes that nothing's happened about.
Yeah, nothing,
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing done about them.
Okay. Yeah.
Is what being said.
Which might be the funniest thing to receive an Easter egg from your nan.
Yeah, we don't. My family doesn't really celebrate Easter, but that's not exactly what I necessarily expected was common to share the London's crime statistics.
Yeah,
and so it all comes from a fear, I think, which is a fairly justified fear for someone.
You're gonna get raped!
Yeah, well, it's football. So she sent that. Apparently, she sent that to him because she found out that he was walking home in the dark without his phone or something for one night, and then just went. So she sent him another message the other day. She's just the best kind of like English nan. She's, by the way, this is a love letter to her. By the way, it's fucking. I wish my nan would put London's crime statistics in an Easter egg.
You're gonna get raped, Andrew.
But she messaged him the other day saying how like ISIS are planning a terror attempt on the Emirates for the Champions League.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't go anywhere near it, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it is a trope of kind of Facebook nans though, especially ones who've never been to London. It is the image of London is this idea that it is just it's every time you go to the offie, it's a miracle you haven't been raped.
It's true. Absolutely, rape, stab, whatever.
Yeah, it must be up there with the first for the word 6,400 rapes being in an Easter egg.
In a Cadbury's, like...
Yeah, that must be like...
Yeah.
I just don't know any scenario.
In between a Dairy Milk and a twirl. London crime rape statistics. It's the careful placing with it. It's an excellent thing to do. It's just like, here's some chocolate, but remember, you might be raped at any moment. Because it is this look, and this.
It's good to remember, though.
It is. The big city's a scary place, and I absolutely understand a grandparent's fear of their child in there.
I wonder, like, where would be the best places to hide rape statistics? Because I think that's a good way of
to your grandchild.
Yeah, to your grandchild.
Yeah.
I think maybe if there's like. I think birthday cards every time you have money in the birthday cards
in a Wervis original packet.
Exactly.
Instead of that, it's a mint.
Also, you can find a way of, well, maybe you start bringing that in, like if you're proposing to your girlfriend, you let her know about rape statistics as well. You can have that
instead of a ring. Well, it could be a ring made
gold.
out of a note that is London crime statistics for the year 2023. Yeah, I mean, the method of showing it is one of the finest I've seen.
I think maybe we can start as a little tradition, actually.
Yeah.
That on every sort of birthday and Christmas.
I think just Easter. I like something about the specificity of just providing loved ones with London crime statistics for the year on Easter.
But yes, this is Easter, but it's also, this is the end of Eid. So we need to say Eid Mubarak to our Islamic followers.
It's the start of Eid, end of Ramadan.
Yes.
Or Eid is just the end of Ramadan.
Eid is the
end of Ramadan.
End of Ramadan, start
Eid.
of Eid.
Yeah.
Eid. The end of Ramadan.
Yeah. We got
starring me.
Starring Horatio Gilwood.
It's a thriller.
Our Muslim correspondent.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's because it was Ramadan or because of my algorithm and what I'm clearly interested in, but I've been getting a lot of Islamic motivational videos, which I've been into.
Right.
And I do think there's probably been quite a lot of movement in the space, or maybe it's always been like this and I've only just discovered it. But it's quite interesting. There's a lot of like Islamic preacher types who are kind of co-opting the sort of style and aesthetic of sort of self-help motivational guys.
Interesting.
It's got music underneath.
Yeah.
They're like in a podcast studio.
What's the setting?
But so there's different types. You'll have like an older type who'll, beards, the whole shebang,
Yeah.
And then you can have like a more kind of agile one where it is more like Diary of a CEO sort of set up.
Right.
But,
Okay.
And it's great because there was one guy who I like there's like a certain level of sassiness from these Muslim preachers that I really like. Like there's this one guy who is fielding questions. I think it's like a live talk show. This one is like a bit more old school. And one guy was saying, I'm really struggling to focus for my exams because I've got my exams coming up. Can I break Ramadan? Is that a haram?
Right. Yeah.
And he was like, of course you can break Ramadan.
Of course you can.
Of course you can. Of course you can. Of course you can break Ramadan if you're worried about your exams. Of course you can do that. As long as you're fine with burning in hell for eternity, that's absolutely fine. I know. There was one guy who was telling and these kind of weird stories. There's one guy who kept talking about how he knew a Muslim who loved Alan Shearer, right?
Is that haram?
Yeah.
What, to love Shearer?
To love Shearer. He started talking about him as being the fox in the box. And he said that like he had Shearer posters, he had like Shearer duvets.
Is he the infidel?
Listen to the lesson, brother.
Yeah, wow.
So he was obsessed with Shearer. He had pictures of Shearer all over his wall. Right. And I think that's also just depicting sort of false idol sort of stuff. And then apparently his last words, which I don't know if this is true, as opposed to being, he said something that a good Muslim's last word should be something to do with Allah, or like there's a phrase you try and say, and his was Alan Shearer.
And his last words? This man died?
Yeah, this guy died.
Right. Who is this? Who they were talking about? A man.
This guy was talking about.
I thought this guy was talking about himself.
It was only a 45-second clip, so I don't know a lot of context. I know one guy using this guy as a lesson, and also there was no reflection at the end.
And
that was just a story.
And the guy who liked Alan Shearer, was he not Muslim?
He was Muslim.
He was Muslim.
Yeah.
But he got so swept up in Shearer that he forgot his own religion.
Sort of. I think maybe it was more like he lost focus of the faith.
Sounds like he lost a bit more than focus on the faith. If his last words were Alan Shearer. Is there any more depressing last words than...
If he's dying, you sort of assume that he's like 70 or 80 years old for some reason. Well, who knows. But in my head, it's this ancient Muslim guy who's got Alan Shearer duvets, and it's just, I'm just saying.
He's insane.
Alan Shearer Akbar.
Well, do you think, there's going to be a lot of these kind of things, because I think, we've seen some with the Christians as well doing it, where they're kind of, it's these very, kind of the oldest school out there, religions, now catching up with the times in how to be content creators and then how to make something grabby and how to gain an online audience, because they are doing the Lord's work. It's always been to spread the word of the Lord in whatever religion. So that means going on and doing Diary of a CEO style things.
Definitely. And I think people also, they could see that men are desiring like purpose, discipline, all this sort of stuff. It's like good to get into that space. There was another guy who was really sounding off about girls wearing belts.
Don't get me started on that.
Sharing that. It's really didn't like that.
Disgraceful. Girls and belts. Wait, what? Because it's doing what?
Figure is the figure.
Oh, like an hourglass thing.
Yeah.
Like pushing in those.
Can't be doing that. But I'm kind of getting into it, and that's like what I found funny as well about how like Andrew Tate was technically a Muslim, right?
Oh yeah.
He said he was a Muslim.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny that he like only. The only thing he liked about Islam was the sexism. That's like quite a funny take, where it's like that was the only.
Yeah, often people pick and choose for the kind of the opposite of that thing. Yeah,
but he was like, I want to be Islam just because of the view of women. That was like the only thing. That's the thing that drew me to it.
Yeah, good for him, I guess, or not. What's he doing? Is he alive?
I saw a video of Tristan Tate at a theatre in Bucharest, being very polite to some people.
That's good.
In a big blue suit, and he did look really weird filmed out in public because it's not doesn't have like the gloss of the videos, and he actually looks kind of like
it was really bald.
Really bald.
Because I think there's something about being bald in the studio is a lot better than being bald in the wild.
Well, this is Tristan, his brother.
Yeah.
Who's balding. He's got the widow's peak.
Oh, right? Okay.
But he did.
But he looks balder than usual.
Yes, and I don't know, maybe he didn't get his hair pills because he was in prison for so long, so maybe he like
Are you still taking your hair pills?
I stopped because I thought, because there was the big side effect was a low sex drive, which was the first time I took it. Yeah. And I stopped then. And now I've taken a different type. And
when you say the big side effects, are they on the bottle or the ones you've experienced?
No, there's like the famous ones, the ones to look out for.
Right.
And I experienced low sex drive when I first did it, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And then I took a different type, didn't experience low sex drive, but then started being anxious.
And the balloon just grew out of your bottom.
Yes. Yeah. And so a big side effect is anxiety. Right.
Of hair pills. What's going on?
But then I was like, And then I realised, it was just because I have things to be anxious about, so it wasn't to do with the hair pills.
So this is recently?
So now I'm back on them.
You're back on the pills?
Yeah, I'm back on the pills.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
I'm dibbling and dabbling, you know.
You got to dibble and dabble.
It's not very satisfying, hair pills, because it's...
Well, you expected to go...
Well, you just got there's no results.
Just have an afro straight
There's
away.
you can't really have results.
Because the only results is a lack of receding.
Yeah.
But then, I guess you got to go off them and see a recede. Well, you don't even know if they're working.
No idea.
So
I just think it's
motivation.
It just seems to be safe to do, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. But I think recently, because I've just been like, I do think I'm going to go on ADD meds. I've talked about this. But I probably put too much pressure on them to be like the Limitless pill. Bradley Cooper takes. I think.
Well, they work, don't they? Yeah. I've heard.
Well, weirdly, I did take an ADD pill on my birthday. I took a friend's ADD pill, which is the first time I'd taken one, even when I wasn't doing work.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, but it was great. I mean, it does feel quite speedy. It feels a bit like Mandy.
I took an ADD pill on my birthday.
Yeah,
Sounds
it just sort of like, it sort of makes you excited and it's a bit cokey, I guess. So I'm yet to see what it'll be like when I actually have to do some work. But my idea is that I can get loads of them, and then that will be like, But then you hear like Americans who take Ritalin and stuff, and there's like people who live off Ritalin.
That's not good.
Yeah, it isn't. But I've avoided most pills, nearly all.
Did you ever do modafinil and stuff?
Yeah, I was obsessed with modafinil. That sorted me out.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm putting a lot of pressure though on that. Like I get. It's
not going to be like modafinil,
and then I'll get to use the rest of my brain.
Yeah.
And I become sort of like Super Saiyan.
So it's a bit like you've got...
I become Mega Mind.
So you'll be able to do more than just... Yeah. It'll be a bit more than just focusing on half on Polytopia and half on something else.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I think... And I don't know if it's getting worse with age, but it does feel like my life does feel like a Bourne film. And it's like it shouldn't... It's not Bourne stuff isn't happening.
Now, let's go over that. Because that could be one of the most worrying things you've ever said. Full stop, actually. Now, why in any way is your life like a Bourne film? I'll give you a chance.
I'm not. It's not like a Bourne... Because
that's like proper schizophrenic thing to say. So you've got people crashing through the window.
It's not in a Bourne film like I got the CIA running after me.
Supremacy or Legacy?
But it's directed by Paul Greengrass, and it's got that long lens, shaky camera feel.
Yeah.
You know, I guess maybe it's
so
overreach.
it's more the style.
Yeah. So but the music's there as well.
I get so it's more the style of the fight scenes, but instead that's just you going to the toilet.
I'm always late. I'm always changing trains. I'm always on transport.
Right. And then you wake up and
I'm in a different city most weeks.
Yeah, you're just confused. Yeah, right. It's a bit like a permanent state of perpetual amnesia.
Yeah, I guess I often forget things.
Yeah, you kind of blank out.
Yeah, and then I'll get a message. I realise I've let like 4 people down and I'm late, and then the music starts playing.
Yeah.
Helicopters
What
overhead.
do you think? What are you thinking about? That's the question. Is what are you thinking about?
Well, it depends when.
It depends what birds up there or like what's going on down there.
It depends when.
Well, yeah. Well, when you're meant to think about things.
Yeah.
That you need to think about to get somewhere or do something.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about those things. Is it just whatever's in the vicinity?
Well, yeah. Well, it's more like there's always a selection of things to think about, and then you sort of...
You know what? Everyone has that problem. That's not just a you thing.
And then things are just... You have bad control of what rushes through your brain.
So when you're thinking, what train should I get on whilst you're looking at the trains?
Yeah.
Some idea about...
Well, yeah.
Polytopia comes
To be fair, I don't make huge fuck-ups on trains. I'm actually not terrible with transport. I think it's just like... I just forget... I will forget insane things, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot, and I need to change the film that my brain feels like. I don't know what start. I guess like maybe it'd be good to like have like a Studio Ghibli film.
I was about to say Studio Ghibli. I think you need at least a bit of that.
Or maybe like My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah,
that one.
Totoro.
Because Spirited Away, that it can get a bit gnarly, you know.
And there's kind of an underlying sense of darkness there. I wouldn't want to live in Spirited Away world. You know. I wouldn't want to live in most of that.
What film vibe is your head at the moment?
What film vibe is my head?
Where are you at the minute?
What's empty?
Well, I guess would it be like
Under the Skin. The Black Void, but when no one's not in it. Because the sentence is like that. No, in my brain, it's actually because I kind of aim for this to happen.
Yeah.
But not to this extent.
Yeah.
And it's funny once you stop doing stuff for just a little bit, and then and just play games. It's astonishing how much it can shut off in such a quick period of time.
Well, like it just goes to nothing.
I'm just like I'm not thinking about anything.
No one's home.
No one's home. I think because I was pretty knackered going into it that my brain's just gone. Oh, we're relaxing now. Great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go away for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I can't.
You don't know where you've been.
I don't know what's going on. I've been thinking about nothing.
So we've had quite a different 2 weeks.
We've had quite a different 2 weeks, yeah. But we've both ended up in the same place in a way, of a bit dazed and confused and being like, yeah. I just don't really know what the fuck where I am.
Yeah. Yours is it's the lights are slowly going out with just the janitor there.
Yeah, then wondering if they'll ever come back.
It's like your brain's probably like a quiet office building with maybe just one guy buffing the floors.
Yeah. But it's a bit like...
But that's quite peaceful. That's
it is
like
quite
a
peaceful.
non-play.
It is quite peaceful, but it's almost disconcertingly peaceful.
Mine's Delhi train station.
Well, I think mine's a bit like school's just gone out. It's almost like how a school is after vacation, during a holiday. During a vacation. See,
School is during holiday.
See, the fact that even confuses us shows that we're in a bad state right now. A school during a holiday. So schools. So you
like
know
the holdovers.
So you don't. Yeah, sure. When you leave a school for a holiday, it doesn't disappear.
No.
It exists.
Well, philosophically, that's an interesting question.
It is. When a tree falls in a forest, doesn't make a sound.
About perception,
Anyway,
but but go on, yeah.
So yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's rattled around a lot, and now it's gone quiet. It's almost. I'm a very 0 to 100 guy anyway.
Yeah.
So
you're at 0 now.
I'm at 0. I'm at 0. I've been on 100 for a while, and now I'm at 0. And I'm scared I'm not going to be able to get back to 100.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm just tired. I can't be. I'm like when you're doing.
You're sick
shit,
and tired of being tired.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Drop that line in. No, once I'm I don't know. It's almost like when you're at capacity, when the cogs are whirring, then you have energy to do other things.
Okay.
But when you've gone to 0, you get tired about doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, what's it like
Sleep
going back
makes
to
you
anything?
tired.
Sleep makes you knackered.
Yeah.
If you sleep too much, it annoyed me. I've slept a bit too much this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just woke up tired and I was like, well, this is shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to force myself to wake up tomorrow.
You need to be anxious about stuff that can keep you.
Yeah, I need to be complaining about how busy I am.
Yeah.
To be okay, because then it can be like, great.
Yeah, I definitely find that. I think
basically I can't relax.
in my head, I'm always like I can't wait to be less busy. But then as soon as I'm less busy, I feel incredibly anxious. You actually just want to. What you really. But it's probably not. You're probably not the best person to give advice, seeing as I just said my head's like a Bourne film. But what I was about to say was, you should be doing 6 things at once and letting one person down. That's probably like good because that means you're too busy, and that's a good place to be in.
Yeah,
you should always be letting someone down.
That's true.
You should have so much on your plate. I think for you should have so much on your plate that at least someone's being let down.
You also have no organisational abilities.
No,
that's where the 6 things at once is like they can just go in a chronological order.
Yes. Yeah, but then weirdly the idea of that is like nails down a blackboard. Like all of that stuff, it does feel like
for me that's
it feels like now I am meat being shoveled into a grave. I'm in one of those like really like lame.
Because you have to just say, like, can we meet at 3 p.m?
Yeah,
or I'll be ready at 2. That's being meat shoveled into a grave.
You know those really like kind of like lame ones about like society, those cartoons about society.
Yeah.
When it's always like everyone's on a conveyor belt,
Human meat shoved into a grinder and it goes out into, I don't know, a bolognese for a rich person.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
When you say...
Or that one of like the landlord drinking all the water and then like a tenant. Like,
and then we're just... What are we doing?
Who's
what are the tenants, obviously, not the landlords.
It's that classic meme format of a big pipe.
Yeah.
And then there's a big load of water going in a fat guy's face.
Yeah,
and then a tiny bit of water's dripping out the pipe.
Right.
And that's a skinny guy.
So that for you, that scene is you saying, I'll meet you at 2 and we'll do that at 3.
Yeah.
that's going, I'll just loosely, I'll loosely plan my day.
Well, it's sort of...
Because then you're a slave to time.
Well, Andrew Tate touched on this. It is sort of, that is how the Matrix gets you.
What, by being on time?
Yeah. I'm Neo.
You're Neo. Yeah. I think we've all made that comparison
exactly.
independently. Yeah.
And you're You're just one of the guys in the car in the background.
But that's absolute nonsense.
You're made of code.
Well, because I can fit a few things into a day.
You don't exist.
Without feeling like... Because I can organise things without feeling like I'm in a Bourne
looking
film.
at you. that's where you're at.
That is,
if I don't look at you, you've stopped...
The take is that's what we're saying?
This is you when I'm not in the room.
Yeah.
This is me when I enter the room.
So it's a bit like an NPC in a game, isn't it, really? And then this podcast is like, would you like to do a quest?
All right, I'm just going to go to my room.
I went, oh. So the take is that organising your day is how the higher powers get you.
Exactly.
Because that is the biggest load of shite
that's what
I've
the Matrix
ever heard
is
in my
about.
life.
The Matrix is a fight against routine and schedule.
No, why?
Because it's like that's what the Matrix wants you to do, and then you have to break
Surely
out.
it depends what you're doing in that routine.
You have to break out and be 15 minutes late.
The concept of organisation isn't slavery. It depends what you're organising. You could be organising.
Well, I want to organise slavery.
Well, then that's great. Now you're the slave driver. Now we're confused.
But it's not very organised, so I'm free. It's free form.
You can organise your own freedom.
It's like jazz slavery.
Yeah, free form, like bebop, kind of scat slavery. Is that what it is? Is it scat slavery?
Exactly.
Well, surely it depends what the kind of time you're organising. If you're organising your free time, then that's free.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's just fitting things in.
Yeah, and like I'm not. The thing is, it's all actually pretty mild because you do meet people with really bad ADD, and it's like, yeah, and then you realise how you don't have it that bad, and you see people. It's like, oh, this is like, you know, and
you just need to reply to a few more text messages.
Yeah, and I was even speaking about this with some more ADD people, and it's like, I guess I'm primarily dyspraxic, so I don't actually know what the official diagnosis of any of this stuff is, but dyspraxia is the most humiliating one.
Hard to put together IKEA furniture.
And it's more like dyspraxia doesn't really affect your intelligence in a way. It just sort of means that you just embarrass yourself regularly. That's sort
physically.
It's like it just means that you undermine
when someone throws a ball at you, you might go like that. You might catch it like that.
Yeah. And so dyspraxia, there's on the whole scale of, I don't know, neurodivergence. Dyspraxia is it's the silliest one.
100%.
Because it's sort of like
as it should be.
Mentally you are pretty with it. It's just you embarrass yourself
physically,
on a mass scale.
On a mass scale. I wouldn't say you've embarrassed yourself on a mass scale.
On a global scale.
Yeah.
The hardest geezer. Have you who told you about the hardest geezer?
Who
first?
hasn't?
Who told you first?
The world.
No,
well,
who was the first?
Ali.
Ali, I thought it would be.
It would because
my
he lives
boyfriend told me first.
He lives in Worthing as well. Ali does. And he runs. So it all adds up. He basically is the hardest geezer. But I think, I see many parallels with the hardest geezer. For those of you abroad, the hardest geezer
he's a global phenomenon now. I don't think this is a national...
I think we still should, though. He is a man who has just run the length of Africa.
Yeah.
It is nuts.
Yeah.
How many... It's like... I don't know, 300... This isn't true, but it's...
Go for it.
It's roughly in the ballpark of like 362 marathons in 345 days. It's something like that.
Yeah.
So he's done it. He's just finished it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the new Captain Tom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the fallout.
Well, Captain Tom...
For those of you...
How far did Captain Tom run?
Oh, yeah, but he was... The bloke was in his...
I mean,
he was like 100, wasn't he? The bloke didn't run. He walked round his garden.
He walked his fucking garden.
He didn't run the length of Africa. But you can see the parallels.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I think he's the new Captain Tom.
I'd like to be do what Captain Tom did, but just my age.
Yeah.
Just try
and why did he get all the
raise money? I've even got a Zimmer frame.
Just walk around the
disabled.
garden. Yeah. I think Captain Tom did one marathon around his garden over several days or something like that. Maybe a bit more.
Did he? I guess so. Or did he just lap his garden a couple of times?
You think he got that famous for lapping his garden a couple of times? Depends how big his garden is.
Yeah, and we talked.
If his garden was 80 miles.
Yeah.
If what?
We talked at length about his daughter. And how
yes, that's what I'm saying. But
her.
Have you ever seen everyone has been sharing him?
Yeah.
There has been an outpour of it's fantastic, great.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised at the level of everyone's obsessed with him.
Yeah.
It's a great achievement, but I'm not I always wonder with what gets. I find it fascinating when people like stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
because I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
I will never like something that I don't.
I like football posts.
Yeah, I know.
If they're the actual footballer, because I'm trying to
Which
support
is so
them.
normal, and everyone I get it's so normal to do,
Yeah.
and I'm not shitting on people doing it. I just don't understand it. So
Yeah.
when people share stuff like someone's just run the length of Africa, why does that get a share?
Because it's meaningful to them, right?
But why is it meaningful to them?
Because it's amazing that.
Yeah, it's amazing to me.
Like
Does that make it meaningful? Why do I share it? I don't understand social media. Is what this comes down to.
Yeah, he is like the modern day Captain Tom, but it is interesting.
Captain Tom was only a few years ago.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but
was
he's
COVID.
ancient. Yeah, that's true.
Well, there's a generational thing.
The oldest geezer and the hardest geezer. But yeah, it's funny that it's like every bloke loves him. It feels of this type of bloke. It feels like a mid-20s bloke
Adore him.
love him who they kind of work for a startup normally.
Well, he's gone into the half marathon culture as well.
It's half marathon.
Yeah, because some of them,
taken
a lot
too
of them
far.
think like, give me a couple of years and I could do that.
Yes. Well, he's a ginger guy from Worthing, so seeing him do that is kind of it is inspiring for the half marathon lot. And also, he wasn't like that big a runner before, which is what I don't really understand.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he wasn't like a crazy runner, seemingly.
Yeah, seemingly.
Which does imply that you can just do it with will.
Yeah,
I don't really know how he did it.
Surely
It doesn't
did
really.
some training. You can't just keep running like that.
And even with interviews afterwards, when he's saying like it was really bloody hard,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you're. It seems like it should have been harder than that.
What, other than bloody hard?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he should still be panting for some reason. Like you see.
Well, he does look like he's got nothing left.
Yeah, but I just kind of like.
When I've seen interviews, he's like that.
Yeah. But then he's still pretty like.
With it, he's not. You're expecting a puddle.
I think he should be panting for at least a month.
I get that. Yeah.
Just like slightly out of breath. Oh, just still like. Because running, you're not really meant to do. You're not. I don't think you're meant to do that. That's like you're running the length of Africa. That's just not really. Well, I guess he spent a year doing it, which is fucking ages.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
No, you're not meant to do that.
So you run a marathon. A marathon is something that our friends will do, and then you won't hear the end of it.
Yeah.
He's done it.
He's done
like
it every
360. He's done it every day.
But more than that every day. It's a little bit more than a marathon every day. Is what he's done.
Well, I guess that shows that if you get something into your routine, then you can really
He's a slave to the Matrix.
Well, it's habit forming, isn't it?
According to you, he's a slave to the Matrix, and he doesn't exist unless you look at him.
I would have been running. You don't know where I've been running. Like
if you tried to run the length of Africa, it would have gone like that.
I'd run across Siberia.
Come back. It would take you a decade. It would take you a fucking decade because you'd get.
It's freeform. It's freeform.
Distracted. No, but
it's habit forming, and the habit he's formed is running a marathon every day.
Yeah,
that is.
We can all form that habit.
That's just about habit forming. That's the hard thing about running marathons every day is inspiring yourself. Oh, I need to run another one.
Yeah, which is a very hard
consistency.
Thing to run a marathon every day.
Every day.
I mean, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Well, you're not gonna
run the length of Africa.
No.
Don't really fancy.
Did you see the thing I sent you about the presenter following him at the end?
Oh, when he was running. Yeah.
That really made me laugh.
Yeah.
And then and so there was a lot of people with him at the end, and I wonder how big a star. I mean, I heard someone was saying that he should win Sports Personality of the Year, which would be fun, I guess. How would you feel about that? Would that piss you off?
I know you'd think. Why would it piss me off?
Because you're just annoyed that you find his fame slightly annoying.
No,
I don't know.
No,
why.
I don't find it so slightly annoying. I'm just surprised by when people share it.
Yeah.
No, I think it should be across the news everywhere. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should, but he won't because it's not a sport.
I think my dream arc for him. Well, running is a sport.
It is,
running
but
is the oldest sport.
I'm not saying that isn't. You know what I mean? I think you can only win it. I think he should win it.
Who do you think invented running?
Who do you think invented running? No one.
Well,
It's like who invented running and
Well,
rabbits.
I wonder who was the first one to realise that you could.
It'll be funny to see the first person going.
This is.
What the fuck's Daryl doing? Look at him go! Stop doing that! I can't.
But yeah, no, I think he should probably win Sports Personality of the Year.
I agree. Well, that's our official endorsement for Sports Personality of the Year. Boys Gone Wild say that what's his name?
The hardest geezer, Ross. Well,
I don't
think,
like the name, the hardest geezer.
What does he do now? Because he has respectfully built a platform out of nothing in like a interesting way.
Yeah.
And now he is a person of intrigue, you know.
What's he going to do next?
Exactly.
And I reckon because him it was...
It's like when Paul left the Traitors, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we should probably get him on Film as the Internet, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, is he going to do a media run now? Is he going to start a podcast?
Well, it depends what he might. It depends what his desires are. Does he want fame?
I think my dream
because he doesn't
scenario,
necessarily want fame.
No.
Because if I was running the length of Africa, I'd want people to know about it, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that I want a media career after it.
Well, why do people run marathons in general? It is a level of attention seeking, right? Not to undermine what it's done. But you know what I mean?
If there's one group of people that have been the most belittled by this podcast, it's marathon runners.
Marathon runners have got it in the neck, admittedly.
Yeah.
And they are huge. They're a huge demographic who listen
It's
to the
impossible
show.
to get away from
Most people are
anything.
listening while running as well.
Yeah. They're all running. Like, stop running marathons. Just sit down.
But at your level of doing it, you're doing it to prove to yourself, but you're also, it's like a...
It's an objective. It's something to fight for.
It's an objective, but then there is a level of wanting people to see it, right? So if you extrapolate,
Well, see, because he
extrapolate that to running a marathon every day for a year, I think you have to just take that feeling and
times it by 365. But I think
maybe he's got his fill though.
He said his deepest motivation. I saw this one clip.
Yeah.
His deepest motivation for doing it was that it's like his family name.
It's like climbing Everest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, he's the first person to do it, I think. Although someone on the Patreon chat said he wasn't. So, but if I start getting my information from the Patreon community chat, we're all fucked. That's a definition of blind leading the blind.
It's a closed loop.
It's a closed loop of fucking people who know nothing about what we're talking about, who then put it on the internet. It's fucking, what are we doing here? But yeah, he said. Yeah, because, it's like a family thing. His family name is now associated.
What's his family name?
It's Cook. And it's a bit like, sorry, there's a lot of cooks who have done a lot of things. Captain Cook.
Yeah.
You know.
And
there's got to be another Cook.
There must be another Cook.
Thomas Cook, the airline.
Yeah, the first cook who gave the name Cook to cooking.
Yeah, that's Cooks.
He was the earliest guy to cook
See,
food.
loads, millions, thousands even.
Yeah.
But so that'll be the motivation, which I get. You want to tell your kids.
Legacy. It's been pretty nice. It'd be a nice thing that your granddad did.
Yeah, no,
that's a nice
thing.
Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if my granddad ran the...
Well,
that's a great thing for your granddad to do.
Was like running pals with Roger Bannister. Do you know who Roger Bannister is?
No, but our episode where we talked about English names with like...
Roger Bannister.
It just sounds like a made-up person. I've never heard of Roger Bannister in my life.
You know what? He did the Minute Mile.
Brian Bollard.
The 1 minute mile? Brian Bollard, yeah.
Ricky Bannister. Wait, Chariots of Fire?
What?
Ricky Bannister. No, but Chariots of Fire was
Roger
about
Bannister.
the first person to do the 4 minute.
It's the 4 minute mile? Yeah.
The 4 minute mile.
It would be that then. Is it the 4 minute mile?
It's the famous one in like the 30s, right?
Yeah. How many minutes is the mile? Roger Bannister.
I mean, it's been absolutely destroyed because...
I don't think in the 30s.
It's not just white guys wearing really tight shorts.
Yeah, 4 minute mile in the 50s.
Yes.
4 minute mile.
Okay, I think that's Chariots
4 minute mile.
Anyway, so your ex's granddad ran with Roger Bannister.
Yeah.
Just what?
And that's what we've got time
on a run?
Yeah.
Or
no, like running partner. Wasn't like not like on. Didn't see him doing a run round his ends.
While he was training to do the 4 minute mile.
Yeah, he trained with him.
Is he a professional runner?
Yeah, he used to run. Well, no, he used to run. It was the Olympics, so none of them were professionals.
I guess so. I know. I prefer I prefer my granddad to run the length of Africa.
Well, I prefer mine to have run with Roger Bannister briefly.
But yeah. I think if I was going objectively,
I
think my dream scenario though is that he says really insane conspiracy theories that are slightly, I don't know, weirdly racially motivated, and he gets cancelled immediately.
It is. That's the joy of the internet.
It's quite funny.
That's the joy of the internet.
That's the funniest scenario.
It's the joy of the internet because we can't vet people.
No.
And they can, if someone runs the length of Africa, then they're allowed to talk to 1 million people. But we haven't decided. No, they haven't really said anything.
I want a sort of Matt Letizia sort of social media presence from him.
Yeah,
because I think there's something just really funny about running yourself into being a voice worth listening to, and then you're using your voice
for insane conspiracy
and it's like,
theories.
how long before people be like, well,
enough from the
guy
who
just runs.
I don't think it would take that long.
How about because it's like, how about you shut your fucking mouth and you keep running?
Keep running, pal.
We
Fuck
prefer
off back to Africa. is what they'll
Well,
say. It's what white people will say.
Yeah, if you're defending him because he's been racist, then it would be one
Fuck
of the
off back to
wokest
Africa.
way
Yeah.
to say go
Fuck
back
off
to Africa.
Yeah.
But I guess in many ways we're all Africans.
Thanks for listening.